it's Lisa with InkandInspirations.com, and in my last video we made a card, this one in particular with the expressions thinlits, and I saved the cutout, and we're going to be making a card today using that cutout plus this beautiful Festive Flurry stamp set and coordinating framelits from the holiday catalog. Now, to prep this piece for the card, I wanted the color to be a little bolder, so I took my Bermuda Bay ink and very carefully sponged over the thinlet to make it a little bolder, the color a little bit brighter, because we're going to have that against a foil piece on the background of our card. So I think I've got that like I want it, and so I'm going to set that aside. And I'm using as my base a piece of Whisper White cardstock cut at 4 1/4 by 11. And we're going to do a little bit of stamping to start off with. And I'm using the snowflake from this set that is on this set of 3, the largest one here, and then I'll also be using the smallest snowflake. So I'm going to ink this up really well with Bermuda Bay. And I check my stamp to make sure it's got good coverage. Then I'm going to open this up, and I want to stamp this image right up here in the upper right. Okay, I'll set that aside, and then I'll get that smallest snowflake that was in that carton. And now I'm going to be using Pool Party. And I want to get a piece of scrap paper because I'm going to do some stamping off. I don't want this very bold at all. So I'm going to ink it up and stamp off. And then I want it like off the card up here on the top. And then again toward the bottom. And then one more just barely in this lower right corner. Okay, so that's our stamping there. Now I'm going to take a scrap piece of Whisper White and stamp in Pool Party, and I'm not going to stamp off this time. And then I'm going to put that through the Big Shot with the snowflake frame. I cut this with this snowflake framelit, and I'm going to punch it right out. And the sizes coordinate perfectly with the stamps in the stamp set. And I used my magnetic platform to cut this and the 2 cutting plates. If you don't have the platform, just cut on tab 2 and with your 2 cutting plates, and it'll roll right through and you'll have a pretty shape. I'm going to set that aside while we work on the rest of the card. Okay, I have my background stamped, and I have a piece of this foil specialty paper that's in the Winter Frost Designer Series paper collection, the specialty paper, and it's cut at 1 3/4 by 4 1/4, so it fits the width of the card. And I'm just going to apply that with some adhesive, and that is going to be the base for our thinlet. Just use a little bit of Tombow here, and position it here where you can see most of those bottom 2 snowflakes that you stamped. Okay? Alright. Now, I'm going to take the thinlet, and I'm going to use our 2-way glue pen, and it is going to work best if you take a piece of scrap paper and press down until the glue comes to the surface of the tip, and sometimes you have some extra there that you can pick up from instead of squeezing it all over again. And you very carefully just apply it to the thinlet, especially on the peaks and the ends that you want secured onto the card base. And I try to be pretty generous with this. This is much, much neater than using Tombow. And it dries clear. So I've got that ready, and I'm just going to put it over that foil. Just like that. And I kind of like the Y hanging off just a bit, so we're going to leave it like that. Okay, and just press down. That's the trick, is to be sure you get the ends and the tails with adhesive so that it will stay when you put it down. Okay, so let's go back to our little snowflake that we cut out, and I'm going to take one of these frosted finished embellishments and use a couple of glue dots on it to apply it to the snowflake center, and then I'm going to use a Stampin' Dimensional on the back of that, and then I'm going to apply that to the center of this large snowflake, and there you have a very really easily put together card once you get the pieces cut. And if you were doing this in bulk, if you were doing this, say, for Christmas cards to send out, do all the stamping first, then the cutting, and just assembly line it, and it would go together fairly easily. So I hope you'll give that a try on both of those. Be sure and visit my blog at www.inkinspirations.com for more ideas or to order any supplies. Thank you for joining me. Take care. Bye-bye.